today's video, I wanted to talk about decentralization, right? And the need for that. And the reason why we're getting into this whole conversation was because if you watched my previous video, I was talking about investing in blockchain and cryptos, why that is what I feel is like a better approach right now to investing rather than going into like equities and stocks. So if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. That'll greatly help with the YouTube algorithm. And the more subscribers I have, the better. Okay, so the more you guys can help me out, I'll go ahead and return the favor to you. So, getting back on subject here, what I was wanted to talk about today was ransomware and the need for decentralization. So, if you don't know what ransomware is, basically it's like a new virus type technology software program that a group called Evil Corporation has created, and they've basically, I just did a search here just to see what would come up, and they're saying Evil Corporation group has hit at least 31 customers in a campaign to deploy wasted locker malware, according to Symantec. Now, more than 24 U.S. organizations, several of them being Fortune 500 companies, were attacked in recent days by a known threat group looking to deploy a dangerous new strain of ransomware called Wasted Locker. Okay, so that was June 26th of 2020. So what you're going to see, or what you already seen, and you'll probably see a lot more of it, is corporations moving into the future are going to get hacked and continue to get hacked because it's just it's a never-ending cycle. So how do you prevent that? As a corporation, one thing that I know, from experience in being in IT security, I worked IT for about 7 years. I just got burnt out on it, so I decided to switch careers. But one thing I know from that whole background is that with centralized networks, from a company perspective, you're very vulnerable to hackers. There's just no way to protect 100% against hackers. Where there's a will, there's a way, basically. As long as you're in a centralized network, that's that's essentially what you're up against. Now, why was I talking about decentralization earlier, and why would it be a wise idea to get into like a decentralized platform? Well, again, it goes back to the network side of things, and with decentralized networks, there's not one point of access. Okay, so it's distributed. Now, like I was saying in my previous video, with decentralized networks, that is a underlying asset to a lot of these cryptocurrencies. And what you're seeing is a lot of these projects in cryptos, they're working right now as I speak and developing new projects that work on something called dApps. And dApps are just basically websites, okay? So it's like the Internet 2.0, essentially. These websites run on a blockchain. Okay. Now, why that's so revolutionary is because a lot of these corporations you're seeing are having problems protecting against hackers, right? So, what I see coming in the future, as far as blockchain projects and cryptos as a whole, what I see coming in the future for corporations is they're going to literally be forced to pivot and adapt into these dApps and into blockchain type projects, okay? And they're going to integrate with Fortune 500 companies. And the reason why, again, is because it offers security when you're talking about distributed ledger networks. I know from my own personal experience, I hacked. So I took a class on Bitcoin back in like 2017, and they were teaching us about how blockchain works. So just tell you a quick story real quick, and why blockchain is such a secure technology and it's revolutionary. So we were programming, and they built out a blockchain for us, and part of that was programming financial transactions that we could put inside the blocks. Before we got into that, though, what they wanted us to do was test out the two-layer security protocol on a blockchain. So what we did is they set up a blockchain with a Genesis block, and then 3 or 4 other blocks. And in between each one of these blocks is something called a hash algorithm. Now this hash algorithm is just a sequential, random set of numbers. Okay, maybe it's not sequential, but it's completely random. And it's kind of like SHA-256 encryption, so you're dealing with like 256 characters in SHA-256. It's real similar to that, but these hash algorithms are what tie your blocks together, your blocks of data. So what they did is they gave us the key to bypass the first layer of the security protocol on the blockchain. And what we did is we went in and they tried to have us take over data on a block, manipulate it, try to crack into that block, and then see what it does. So what we did is, or at least what I did, is I took the hash algorithm and I changed one character, just one character on the hash, and it kicked me out like within a nanosecond. The reason why is because when you're on distributed ledger technology, a lot of these blockchains are built on 100% consensus or a trust-based system. And how that works is each computer on the network that's distributed keeps a copy of the blockchain. And if, say, a hacker comes in and they try to hack the hash algorithm that ties the two blocks of data together, and they throw their copy back out on the network, what happens is when they throw that copy back out on the network, all these other computers have got a copy of the blockchain previous to that. So what ends up happening is computer Y will talk to computer X and say, hey, do you got that copy? Do you have that new copy that just jumped on the blockchain? And if it's a hacker that took over the blockchain to begin with and they manipulated it, well, of course it's going to be different than every other copy out there on the blockchain. So essentially what happens, all these computers will talk to each other, say, hey, do you got a copy of that? And they, basically all of them are going to agree at that point that the the copy that was just put onto the blockchain is not valid. So what ends up happening is they get, it's a trust-based system. So all the computers agree, okay, that blockchain doesn't register with what we're seeing, and they all kick you off. Now all this takes place within like a nanosecond. I mean, it's instantaneous, which is really cool because basically what hackers are doing when they try to break into a blockchain is that they're fighting like, borderline artificial intelligence. I wouldn't call it artificial intelligence just yet because it's not quite there. It's not thinking for itself, but it's pretty darn close because you've got thousands upon thousands of copies of this blockchain that are out there on the network. And again, that kind of technology I see moving into the future as being a huge, critical, key component, okay, for corporations to protect themselves against people like, Evil Corp. I know just yesterday or Sunday, CenturyLink had a major outage too, okay, and I want to talk about that one because that one's real similar in the concept of, it being a centralized network. So basically what happened was Cloudflare, okay, for Hulu, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Feedly, Discord, and dozens of other services reported connectivity problems. This was on Sunday morning, okay. When the Cloudflare went down, it took dozens of websites and SANs, online services, along with it. Now, the company said the problem was with a third-party transit provider, and its service was becoming increasingly stable over the course of a day. But it was affecting the CDN. okay? And that's your content delivery network. So your content delivery network, again, even with a company like CenturyLink, it's centralized. And again, it just goes to show that these blockchain projects that are being developed on for the crypto space are going to have some major uh, breakthroughs eventually if they haven't already. I mean, some of them are like Chainlink, for instance. Um, they've come up with a lot of solutions for distributed ledger technology that works with Oracle databases. So if you're not familiar with that one, I would look into Chainlink, read about them. The other thing you can do is go to coinmarketcap.com, okay, and from there you can get a whole list of all these cryptos and projects that are taking place. And all you have to do is just click on one of their links, and it'll take you directly over to the website of the project. So just to give you an example, we'll go to CoinMarketCap. Sorry, so I typed in Coinbase. We'll go to CoinMarketCap real quick, and just to show you what I'm talking about, here's the list of all the different cryptos and projects that are out there. So all you have to do is just click on one of them. Like if we click on Tezos, for instance, this is a project, okay? So you've got developers, you got a team that is working on a problem and coming up with solutions to solve that problem. Uh, Again, all this is based on solving the centralized network issues that you're seeing today that I was just pointing out. Okay, so think of it as Internet 2.0, because that's basically what it is. But here you can get the market cap. So here's the overall market cap for the entire cryptocurrency market, um, and then here's 24-hour volume, Bitcoin dominance. But you can deep dive down into some of these other projects and look at them uh, just to see what their market cap is. The 24-hour volume, supply. But if you click on the website, it'll take you over to the company's actual website, okay, where they're doing stuff. So like on this one, you can access the developer portal. You can read up on, what they're doing right now. Like Tezos is designed to provide the safety and code correctness required for assets and other high value use cases. Its native smart contract language, uh, I believe that's Michelson, facilitates formal verification and a methodology commonly used in mission critical environments such as the aerospace, nuclear, and semiconductor industries. Okay, so again, we're talking about security, um, and that's huge, guys. That is huge right now as far as the technology and the market and demand for that kind of thing. And I pointed it out earlier to you with the CDNs, the content delivery networks, being centralized, through like CenturyLink, um, along with like these ransomware hackers and stuff like that. I think if all these corporations get smart and they start getting on board with some of these crypto projects, okay, or at least start using the underlying asset, which is the blockchain, in which these tokens are riding on, if they start using that technology, there's going to be a huge shift, um, and that's going to definitely help with like security and securitizing, you know, centralized networks. Even if they want to remain centralized, they may put like a blockchain application to use for a lot of their websites. There's several different things that they could do with that kind of technology, but I just wanted to point that out to you. And that's really all I wanted to cover today, was more on like the decentralization and why cryptocurrency projects are, I feel like going to be the next revolutionary technology that leads corporate America into the next 100 years. Okay, because it's also got monetary use as well, so it's not just for like corporations and databases and supply chains and stuff like that. So with that being said, guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to continue shooting some more videos here well into the future, and I'll go more in depth on cryptos. One thing I want to do right now is work on a course that I want to put together that introduces people into the crypto space, and I can show you like kind of how to maneuver or navigate different networks like the ERC20, or the Ethereum blockchain. I want to show you how to like basically become your own bank when it comes to the monetary means, because like I said, it's got a lot of monetary use to it. But yeah, I mean, I've got all sorts of stuff that I want to start pushing out there as far as content that I can share with you guys to help you, basically adapt and move into this new world that we're going into. So with that said, guys, take care, and I will talk to you next time.